What up, YouTube? Flash Speaks back for another video. This here is a game prediction and breakdown of the upcoming Clash of the Titans between the Philadelphia Eagles and the San Francisco 49ers. This should be the game of the week. It's a game that has been highly anticipated since the NFC Championship game of last year. Where the Philadelphia Eagles defeated the San Francisco 49ers 31-7 at home. So as we know, the story of that game was Brock Purdy was hurt by a hit that Hassan Reddick had dealt to him. Didn't look like much of anything, but I guess it was bit back awkwardly. Must have hurt a tendon of some sort, and he really tried to come back and continue, tried to gut it out, but he didn't have enough to provide the type of offense that they would need to defeat a team of the Eagles' stature. 49ers defense, I guess, tried to hang in there, and then later it just got out of control because I guess they started to feel like they couldn't win. I don't. These are the things that I'm hearing. All of that stuff is just, though it could be true, it really doesn't mean much to me. And the reason I say that, man, is not to be insensitive or to not be, realistic or anything. But, as a Philadelphia Eagles fan, we went through a similar thing back in 2019, the 2019 season. Carson Wentz had gotten the Philadelphia Eagles to the playoffs. And, we go out there, we face the Seattle Seahawks. And Carson Wentz gets hurt on, I think it was the first drive, and this was by a dirty hit by Jadeveon Clowney, who after Carson Wentz falls, he actually comes down and hits him while he's on the ground. It was like really a clear, dirty hit that I don't even know if we got a flag for. I know that Clowney was not fined like I think you should have fined, and the Eagles had to play the rest of the game with some washed up old guy who was like 40 years old, K McNown or Josh McCown, one of those guys, man. And we had no chance. I mean, actually, he fought. Team fought the Seahawks, but we didn't win. But what I do is I remember how that felt. That you feel like you have a team that can do something, and then, your quarterback gets hurt. Like, no one is a stranger to it. It's part of the NFL. But what I don't get is a fan base that would get angry with the team or our fan base like that. I don't understand. Like, I felt no vitriol towards the Seahawks because my player got hurt. I don't understand. I will never understand that. And that's kind of the problem that I have with the situation coming from, 49er fans and definitely the team. At any rate, man, breaking this game down, the Philadelphia Eagles, I believe, are sitting at a 2.5-point underdog. So San Francisco 49ers are actually the favorite right now going into the game. And I found that very interesting. I'm trying to figure out what it is they're going based off of. Now, I have a few theories. Number one, the 49ers do have a few perceived advantages. If we look at the health of the team, I know the 49ers would be missing one of their main safeties. I think his name is Funchess. I think they'll be missing him. But when you look at the Eagles' side of the ball, it's a good chance that the 49ers will come into this game the much healthier team. I'm looking at the injury report today, and usually I do these things after the injury report because I think you can give a much more accurate prediction. But looking at the injury report that we have thus far, it looks like Lane Johnson didn't practice, so that's still up in the air whether or not he's going to play. Dallas Goedert, it appears, I was hearing from people that he's trying to play, but it looks like he probably won't. Okay, So you talking about there's two starters on the Philadelphia Eagles, Lane Johnson and Dallas Goedert, major contributors. The defense, man, not only have we lost N'Kobe Dean, our starting middle linebacker from the beginning of the year, now you got Zach Cunningham. It looks like he's going to be out. He has a groin that he injured, or groin or hamstring that he injured last week against Buffalo. Looks like he won't go this game. Milton Williams, a good rotational piece that we have on the defensive line. They say he's in concussion protocol. He may play, but we're still, that isn't confirmed yet. So I can understand if you're Vegas and you're looking at it, you'll consider that. The other thing you'll consider is the fact that the San Francisco 49ers last game played was last Thursday against the Seattle Seahawks. And the Philadelphia Eagles played last Sunday evening. Okay, so that means the San Francisco 49ers had a whole extra 3 days rest, which is called a mini bye, to get prepared for this game. Whereas the Philadelphia Eagles, you're talking about Sunday and then probably one day off Monday, and then you're back to work Tuesday. So the 49ers should be the much more well-rested team, a much more healthier football team when we face off. So I'm assuming that's what's accounting for them being considered the favorite in Philadelphia. Now, I can understand them being a 3-point favorite in San Francisco. Either teams typically, when you have two evenly matched teams or perceived evenly matched teams, what you'll do is you'll give the home team the 3-point advantage, because typically home teams, win. So I'm assuming Vegas is looking at the health, the rest, and everything else to give the 49ers the 2.5-point advantage, because other than that, I don't see why you would give a 10-1 team, when you make them the underdog against a 8-3 team, 8-3, yeah. So that's what I'm looking at now. If you look at the teams though, a lot of interesting things here. If you look at the San Francisco 49ers, you're talking about they're coming in here with the 13th ranked offense. They're 13th ranked overall offense, eighth in rushing, and they're pretty good in passing offense as well. No, I'm sorry. The offense is eighth. I'm sorry, offense is eighth. In rushing, they're eighth, and in passing, they're 13th. Is that right? Yeah, I think that's about right. So I mean, they are a challenge for the Eagles, but I'm not certain how effective that offense would be against the Eagles. I know the Eagles has a secondary that's challenged, but it's usually challenged by certain types of players, certain profile. Like if you look at the Washington Commanders receivers, you're talking about really sharp route runners like McLaurin, really smooth in and out of their breaks type of guys. Even Dotson is similar to that. When you talk about the 49ers, man, Ayuk is probably the best route runner. And you got the guy that comes in, is the slot guy. He's not bad. Kittle concerns me because the Philadelphia Eagles are not great against tight ends, and then with Zach Cunningham being hurt, that's even a bigger problem. I'm assuming we might have to do a lot of dime, maybe some quarters, because you probably want Kevin Byard taking that matchup with Kittle. So I guess we'll have to do that. But then this concerns me as far as the run defense. The Philadelphia Eagles, we are the best team in the league against the run. However, you don't face the top rusher in the league every week either. And the 49ers are they have the seventh best rushing attack, and we have the eighth best rushing attack. So in that way, our offenses mirror each other in a lot of ways. It's just I don't think it's similar when it comes to receivers. I think the Philadelphia Eagles far and away have the better receiving core. To me, I think Devontae Smith is better than Brandon Ayuk, and then AJ Brown. Come on. And Debo to me is not a top wide receiver in the NFL. I mean, he's just not. Now, he's a weapon. He's a playmaker. He's a guy that once he has the ball in his hand, he can make things happen. He breaks a lot of tackles. He has all the moves. It's like he and McCaffrey are pretty similar types of weapons, out there, and that's what makes them dangerous. They have a very smart, offensive-minded coach who puts these guys in great situations, who drums up the right types of plays. He calls it generally a good game plan, and it is what it is. The proof is in the pudding. They're 8-3, for a reason, and they've been in the championship games over the last few years, for a reason. Nothing to take away from them there. The Eagles will be up against a very, very good defense, man. They're fifth overall total defense, but they might actually. Those are just the numbers, but in reality, might even be better than that. But they fifth overall, very, very good defensive line, guys we know. Then they added Chase Young to go along with Hargrave, guy we know really well, who's a double-digit sacker for the Eagles. And then Nick Bosa, of course, one of the best in the game. I think they got Armstead. I'm not sure if he's playing. I think he might actually be hurt. So we'll see what happens with that. But the man in Chase, man, you're talking about a serious challenge. And Jordan Mailata is going to have to do a better job on Chase Young than he did, when he was with Washington. And I got this feeling that that's one of the reasons, the 49ers grabbed Chase Young. They watched his performance against Jordan Mailata, so we need Mailata's really going to have to be on his A game. And then Lane Johnson. It's very important, man. If Lane Johnson doesn't play, it's going to be a really, really tough sledding for the Eagles offense because Jack Driscoll, while he started off really rough last week in the first drive, he started to play better later. You talking about Nick Bosa, that's a completely different animal there. Even though the guy he played against last week is having a good year, but Nick Bosa is a different animal. You know what I mean? So that does concern me. If Lane Johnson doesn't play, I can definitely understand the Eagles not being considered a favorite in this particular game. Now, Tre'Davious Ward and the other corner versus our receivers, I'm not so sold on that matchup being in the favor of the 49ers at all. I hope the 49ers believe that their guy can just match up one-on-one with A.J. Brown. That's the best case in their situation. Most of these teams are not that arrogant. They make sure they double A.J. Brown. They bracket him. They try to roll defense to him. These are the types of things that A.J. Brown has been seeing, which has led to why his production hasn't been the same as it's been, in prior weeks, in previous weeks, right? But that's the thing. I think our receivers get the edge there, especially without Funchess. Now, it's going to come down to the line of scrimmage. This is where this game is going to be won, on the line of scrimmage. Who can pressure whose quarterback better? Who can run the ball more effectively? When you have evenly matched teams, man, oftentimes that's what it comes down to. Now, when it comes to the other matchup, Brock Purdy versus Jalen Hurts, Brock Purdy has done well since he's been in the league. I don't see anything in his game that tells me that he's a bad quarterback, that he's that he's a tomato can or anything that can be, No, I think he's very good, solid, young, quarterback. But I think it's absurd to think he's better or on the level of Jalen Hurts personally. I don't think he's done enough in the game, though so far so good. We'll see. I mean, like if it becomes a shootout, I'm fully confident in Jalen Hurts. Brock Purdy might be ready for it. I don't know. Um, we've seen situations this year where everything wasn't ideal and perfect for them, and they ended up being losses. Whether you blame them on Purdy or not, at the end of the day, those games ended up being losses. Whereas with Jalen Hurts, you only have one spot, against the Jets where I would say, you know, um, he made you wonder, what was up with him. Other than that, I mean, he's been coming through and winning those games. I mean, everybody sees it. We pretty much are on, uh, the big stage all the time, national games. So that is what it is, man. Uh, what I my prediction is hard to predict right now because a lot of it is contingent on Lane Johnson being there. But I tell you what, I am a little concerned about the 49ers and their trash talking and the effect that it could have. I'm looking at Bosa. He says he's confident that they'll be able to contain Jalen Hurts. Like, why do you say stupid shit like that? Those are the only things about like their players I don't get. Like, and it makes me wonder about Kyle Shanahan. Like, do you have any type of like influence over your players in the right way? Like, why do you have this trash talking culture? Where Kittle just does the F Dallas thing, and where Debo just keeps talking trash while he's a very unproductive wide receiver. Like, just blows my mind. You know, I remember back in the day when Andy Reid, had a guy named Freddie Mitchell who would do that, and you'll always reel them in, or the veterans are reeling them in. So that kind of concerns me about their culture a little bit. I don't know how strong their culture really is. I don't really spend a lot of time looking up the situation with the 49ers, but they talk a lot of trash. They are good. They are good players, talented players, but coming into Philly, man, you need to recognize that you up against something, man. This team don't play games. Even Bradbury, I'm going to do a reaction to Bradbury's answering the questions, related to Debo Samuels. That's going to be my next video, you know what I mean? And just to show the difference between how our players carry themselves and the players on the 49ers do, man. You know? But that's pretty much it there. We don't want this to be too long. You know how we do, man. So, go Birds. See y'all then. Peace.